Jennifer and this is Kate, and recently we decided to spice up our reading routine by playing a super fun game of book bingo.
So we felt like we were in a little bit of a reading rut this past winter, so we decided to give this winter reading challenge from our local library a try.
And it was definitely a lot of fun.
So we're going to have like two parts to this video. The first one is going to be my vlog of everything that I read, and then it will be her turn.
Yes, and we both read several very fun and interesting books. We can't wait to share them with you, so let's get started.
All right, so I was looking at the scoreboard on the bingo a little closer, and I kind of put a sticker on the free space because I can. I think I'm gonna keep track of this with stickers. And I was looking at all of the prompts and trying to come up with a little bit of a plan, so I wasn't just randomly reading books hoping that they would form the correct line. And I think I want to go like straight down the middle right here. That would be read a book with multiple points of view, read a book that won an award in 2022, free space, read a book with a purple or blue cover, and then read a retelling of a famous story or a historical fiction novel. So I'm pretty sure I can find books to fill all of those prompts off of my bookshelf. Maybe not all of them off of my bookshelf. Read a book with a multiple POV. For that one, I'm thinking of The Maze Cutter by James Dashner. This one's a library book, so not everything off of my bookshelf, but I was hoping to try to do TBR books as much as possible, but this one just came in from the library and it appears to be a multiple POV book with quite a few characters, like 4 or 5 characters getting POV chapters in here. So I think I'm going to use this one while I have it for that first prompt. What comes after that, I don't know. So I think we're going to start with The Maze Cutter, start with that dual POV, read it while I have it, and then move on from there. But I'm just going to do another quick update. I have started in with The Maze Cutter, and I think I'm going to be going the audiobook route. And if I audiobook this one, then that will allow me to physically read a different book for a different prompt. And I think the prompt that I want to go for is one of the ones down here, which is read a retelling or a historical fiction. So I do have like one historical fiction on my shelf, which I think I'm going to pick up. It is very short, so that's good. So hopefully it won't take me very long to read that. So let's go pull that off the bookshelf. I'm gonna just into the camera. Okay. So this whole series over here is historical fiction. I have talked about it on the channel before, but this one, The Colossus of Rhodes, is like the 9th book in this series, the Roman mysteries. So it's set during Roman times. So this is a kid's series, so it's very short, and it will fit the prompt perfectly for historical fiction. And I don't have another choice for historical fiction, so we're going with this one. So this is 173 pages, and no, not very big print or maps. So I don't know, all in all, I don't think this should take me very long, like I literally keep saying. So let's go ahead and get started and see how much of this I can get through tonight. All right, I am now on page 120 out of 175. So I have my blanket, I have my tea, and I might set a timer for like an hour and just see if I can finish this book today. All right, it is sticker time. Read a retelling of a famous story or a historical fiction. Yay, that is so insanely satisfying. All right, so as you just saw, I finished the Colossus of Rhodes, which yay, I finished my first book for this challenge. I'm very excited. So this one was pretty good. It was better than I expected it to be, and I did enjoy myself with this book. It's probably going to be somewhere around a 4-star read, so I was very happy with this. It definitely dives into a lot of different topics. Like, it's a very emotional book for being marketed to a younger audience. Like, there's a lot going on there. And it also dives very deeply into the Roman culture and the Roman beliefs, like the Roman gods. And I was like, wow, like this is a kid's book, but we're getting into all of these different things. So I just feel like with this series, like the more it goes on, the better it might be for an older age group, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like some of the first books would have been fine for like older elementary. Then some of the ones like this, with all those emotions and all these practices. I mean, we even have like the slave trade in here. Like, I feel like this would be better for slightly older kids, like pushing into middle school. So it's kind of interesting how that age is rising as you go further into the series. Anyway, I did enjoy it. I'm glad I got a chance to pick it up, and maybe I'll continue with the series. I don't know, it still is kind of young for me as an adult, but we'll see. I did have a good time with it. So my other update for now is about the Maze Cutter, and it's not such a good update because I will not be continuing on with this book. It is the sort of second era coming off of the Maze Runner series by James Dashner. And I read and I really liked the Maze Runner series, but those books were older. So they're not running into any of the problems of homosexuality or transgenderism, anything like that. They're completely free of that. But since this book was a 2022 release, it is not completely free from some of that stuff, and I don't really want to read it. I literally only got into chapter 2 before I figured out that you do get some of that representation in here, so I'm not going to be continuing on with this book. So I'm going to be picking a different book for the multiple POV bingo space. And I've already figured out what that book is. And it's one that is on my TBR. So that's great. I'm trying to read all the books on my TBR. So I don't have it with me, but it is Fight for Liberty by Teresa Linden, which is the third and final book in the Liberty trilogy. I am so beyond excited to read this book. I just had a great time reading the second book earlier this month, and I'm going to be taking this one back to the library. That's what the library is for. I'm very glad I didn't buy this book, and now I can just send it back and not have to worry about it.
I have a giant spot of drool on my skirt. Ow. Ouch. Oh, 2. Look at that. You are so helpful. So helpful. So, it's been a hot minute since I did a book update. It is early February now, just to keep track of the time for you. So, I am on page 176 in Fight for Liberty, which means I basically have 100 pages left in this book, somewhere around 12 chapters. Today is a very rare Sunday where I don't have to work, so I basically just want to lay in bed and read all day. I have a couple of other things I need to do, but then after that, there's not anything stopping me from just like lounging around my room and finishing this book. In case anyone is wondering about the other bingo space, the book with a blue or purple cover, I haven't talked about that one, but I do have an ebook on my phone, which it has a really beautiful blue cover. I'm kind of reading that one inconsistently, so I haven't really talked about it, but it sort of is going in the background. I don't know if I'll end up counting this particular book. I'll just let you know how that goes, but it is something that's going on in the background. I'm not very far into this book, but I very well may count it for the blue cover. That's what's going on there.
So I lost a clip later where I talk about this, but the book I'm talking about is Star of Hope by Bridget Cromie, which I did end up choosing, and I'm basically reading it in the background throughout this whole vlog.
I just finished. So good. I will update more probably tomorrow when I've had a little bit more time to process my thoughts and everything on the book. In another episode of Strange Places that I'm filming, we are down on the glider underneath the deck. It's not the prettiest background, but it is good lighting, and it's quiet down here. So a little more on my thoughts about Fight for Liberty. This one, I felt like the characters didn't struggle in this book as much as in the other books. A little part of it almost felt like it was too easy, honestly. It was still a really good book, and I did enjoy the way that she concluded the trilogy, but I wouldn't say that book 3 was my favorite. That would probably have to go to book 2, but overall, the Liberty trilogy is definitely one of my favorite dystopian trilogies out there. But then moving on to the next book, that would be a book that won an award in 2022. And for that, I have The Rise of the Raiden by Susan Markloff, which won a Reader's Favorite Book Award. It won the silver medal in urban fantasy. So I did not know that actually when I got this book for Christmas. So I'm very excited that I can use another TBR book in this challenge. This is going great for reading off my TBR. But I don't know a whole lot about this book. Obviously it is urban fantasy. So we have our main character who leads a double life. So I don't know, it sounds very interesting. So I will keep you updated on how this one goes.
I do have some reading updates. So I am a little under 100 pages into The Rise of the Raiden. That one's pretty good so far. And then I am like 80% of the way through Star of Hope. So my goal is to finish that ebook today. It shouldn't take me long. I have less than 100 pages left. I'm going to try to finish that one and then be able to devote all the rest of my time to finishing Rise.
Is this cute for a reading vlog to be propped up on the bookshelf or annoying? I don't know. You can enjoy the Jane Austen. But I have finished Star of Hope now. I have incredibly little footage of it just because it was an ebook on my phone and I film on my phone, so that's kind of difficult. But it was not my favorite fantasy book I've ever read. It just seemed like a standard fantasy, you know? So not the greatest thing, but definitely not a bad book either. Again, just really standard, you know, the lost princess, let's fight the war, you know how it goes. That is going to mark off a book with a blue or purple cover, a book with a blue cover. So that's exciting.
Anyway, so we have finished. Yay, I get to cross off the last book on my bingo card. So exciting. I had a lot of fun with this. Unfortunately, I didn't end on the best note. The Rise of the Raiden was not Can You Stop Making Noise? Was not my most favorite book. It was a good story, but just something about it was not for me. You know, some books just aren't for you, and this was one of them. So I felt like she had a lot of really good world building, but didn't use it to its full potential. Definitely like the chosen one trope, a little bit of language, but I don't know. I am glad to be done with this book and moving on to something that I want to read a little bit more. All right, so with that, I think I'm going to sign this vlog off here. This was the stack of books that we got through, minus the DNF, which went back to the library. I think my favorite was probably the Colossus of Rhodes. I did really enjoy that historical fiction. So, like I said, it was a really good time doing this bingo. I had a lot of fun doing it. I love this type of book challenge. So, I got to knock off quite a few of my TBR books as well. So, that's really exciting. I have my bingo all completely filled out. Yeah, so that was our winter reading challenge for 2023. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.